Okay, and well, fingers crossed that I can do this video and already there goes a hiccup, but it's fine, let's do this. So today's topic will be about business, and rather we'll be looking at the false notion that is associated with the entrepreneurial process, the gap between theoretical studies and practical application, and startups, particularly Declutter and what we've done to get here. So I understand that we're in the information time or information age where people use different sources to get the information that they need about different topics or different activities. When it comes to business, a lot of people use the internet to find out as much as possible, to see or to gain as much knowledge to do better in their business or to embark on the journey. Now, the hiccup here is that many people encounter quote unquote motivational business gurus. This is where the hiccup comes in, where many of them give you various steps to follow for you to achieve your goals. But what we forget is that many of them have already got a foundation. You know, you could be unemployed or you could be working for a company. You don't have any experience in terms of how to run a business and so forth. They've got at least some form of knowledge or the experience on where to put their monies or where to put the revenues that they generate. And then secondly, many of them become successful through the tools that they sell to you or the step guides that they sell to you that apparently will help you. Now the thing is that, like I'm saying, they've already got the foundation. Without that knowledge, without that foundation, it is difficult to break through the business world or into any market that is, for that matter. So today I'm going to touch on some of the things that I can highlight that we did or that we are doing that has yielded or has shown some results over the past 6+ years. So one thing that you need to know, if you don't know how to sell, guys, forget about it. You know, you need to learn how to sell. Even if you're not an expert to a pro, at least some fundamental knowledge of selling, you know. So the various stakeholders will require you to sell, whether to sell your personality to them, whether to sell them a product or service. You need to, or the idea or a plan, you need to be able to sell. See, another thing is that you need to be able to practice being patient. If you're not patient, guess what? You'll make irrational decisions and look for shortcuts in this walk. And guess what? There isn't any shortcuts. You need to work hard to realize or to get to the goals that you want to get to. Another thing as well is that you need to learn how to persist through difficult times, through different challenges, because you will have them. You're going to have these challenges whether you like it or not. But if you don't know how to persist, or if you don't have a thick skin, guess what? You will give up most of the time. And then the pivoting that I was speaking about earlier on. So, example, you set out to accomplish whatever. Let us say that you want to turn over to 500,000 rands this year as a startup, as a new business that started this year. Now, for whatever reason, before the end of the year, something happens that, you know, goes against what you plan to do to get to that 500,000 rands by the end of the year. Now, if you learn how to pivot, you'll understand that you're not giving up on what you're doing to get to what you need to get to, but rather you're trying a different angle to still get to the same goal, if that makes sense. See, so that's one of the things that many entrepreneurs don't want to try. They're rigid in their way of doing things, and this is the reason why a business plan, for example, is not something that is supposed to be rigid. It's supposed to be flexible so that you can tweak it here and there. See, and above all, discipline. So if you're not disciplined to execute, if you're not disciplined to practice, to learn, to do what you need to do to get to where you need to get to in your business, guess what? Everything else that anyone can teach you or share with you will not be of any use to you. See, so discipline is important. A good example would be many entrepreneurs, as they generate revenue, they tend to use the revenue for unnecessary things or for personal stuff. To buy that fancy vehicle or to buy that house and so forth, forgetting that the business hasn't gotten to the levels that it needs to get to before it, you can announce that get a salary, I should say, that allows you to be able to acquire those things. They rather use everything that they get, or most of what they get, to finance their personal lifestyle. Now, if you're disciplined, you will work for some time till your total revenue generated, or your turnover per annum, is large enough that you know that a good cut of it will allow you to be able to do those things that you want to do personally, or to rather invest those revenues that you generate so you can yield more, and in turn that can purchase you that personal item that you want. See, then the next highlight is the gap between theoretical studies and practical application. So in theory, there's so many things that they touch on that they don't get deep into, depend on what level you're studying, whether it's degree or master's or PhD level. So with this, I totally understand that they touch a lot on cash flow, but there isn't a lot of emphasis on the importance of cash flow, if that makes sense. So a simple example would be, for, let's just hypothetically speak, that you want to start a business, a delivery business. You need a vehicle or two to start. Maybe you need 250,000, 300,000 rands to start, to buy a vehicle and start. A bit of money to promote yourself and so forth, and a bit of money to purchase a vehicle and whatnot. So without cash flow accounted for in this whole equation of purchasing a vehicle, marketing, getting a job and doing a job, if something were to happen, hypothetically speaking, let us say that you get a tire puncture, it will set you back if you don't have cash flow to sort it out, to continue what you need to do to get to where you need to get to. See, so basically cash flow helps in absorbing shock that you did not anticipate, basically, in the business, so you can continue doing what you need to do to get to where you need to get to, if that makes sense. And then realistically, when we speak, obviously theory and practical aspect is two different things. We know this already, but there's a lot of no's. So let's say, for example, you've got an awesome product or an awesome service that you're delivering. It takes a lot of seeing, you need to see a lot of people, basically, in sales. Basically, you need to have a lot of leads, or you need to see a lot of people to close, or to sift through the poor leads to get to quality leads, basically. So when it comes to the realistic aspects of it, these no's that you're going to get, if you're not strong to withstand it, to persist, and be patient at times, to, try it another time, then guess what? You will not, be able to progress forward, because you're going to be getting a lot of no's, and, you might give up, or you might be like, oh, maybe this is not such a great product or service. See? And then a contingency plan, I know in theoretical studies they do mention it, but one thing that I've discovered is that obviously you can't plan for everything, but once you've got the fundamentals right, then guess what? You can put contingency plans in place to mitigate any risk that you encounter as you progress in the entrepreneurial process. Okay. Then the last topic that I wanted to touch on, startup, particularly Declutter. So we've been operating for more than 6 years now, and as you know by now, we come to the comfort of your home or your office to remove whatever you feel is clutter or junk. So when we started this, we went to various places, mostly in the northern side of Gauteng, where we spoke to different individuals at high foot traffic areas like Cresta Mall and the likes, and asked about what people think of such a service, like Declutter, coming to your home and clearing whatever you feel is junk or clutter. And in return, we got so many positive responses that encourage us to take the next step, which is actually part of marketing entirely, really, because promoting yourself or promoting an event or even an organization is part of marketing. So we did that, and what I can say is that without marketing, without promoting, without selling, without branding, without these different components to marketing, guess what? It becomes very difficult for a business to grow organically, and many times tend to seek funding. And as well, it tends to make the individuals within the organization a bit lazy, because they're getting compensated and not have to pull up their socks or to grind or to get on the ground, to do the groundwork. So we had to do the groundwork. We had to engage thoroughly in marketing. We even drafted or developed a solid marketing plan, of which after 6 years we are still even launching some of them. Some of them we haven't launched yet, like for example to be on telly, to be able to present what we do to more people in South Africa. We haven't done that yet, but that's one of the things that we're hoping to do. At the moment we're busy doing the radio part of it. See, then last but not least, when it comes to what we've done over the past 6 years, so after promoting what we do, if people call in or if people ask to use our service, we close sales with them. Like, we conclude sales. It's not just we talk, and no, we have to close sales. If we don't close sales, guess what? It's all advertising, it's all marketing. Well, sales is also part of marketing, see. But then it's all the other part of marketing, but we haven't concluded or sold yet. So yes, there's a lot that goes into business. It is important that you find out, as I say, what you're good at or what you enjoy, so that once you engage in this process, it is not tedious or you don't hate it, or when you have down days or down times, you don't think, oh, this is the end of it, or this is the end of the road, let me give up, or let me try something else. You need to persist through that one idea, that one service, or that one product, and then work your way from there to the next. If you give up on the next, or if you give up on the product or service that you're offering, you most likely will give up on the next product or service that you launch in the future. So don't give up.